I was talking about the employees loyalty in the last session, and then the question was arise, that is the how we can generate that loyalty, and can we generate the loyalty amongst the employees. So first we have to understand, what if employees are not loyal. Now here you see, those who are active, if active employees are there, who will create this type of the loyalty, that is the positive, those who are active and positive. So definitely they will show the loyalty, right. Those who are active but not positive and negative, then they will have, that is the voice. Those who are non-active and positive, right, so they will neglect. And those who are active and negative, so voice is there, active, positive, negative, the active and positive, they will exit. Non-active and positive, they will exit. So therefore in that case, loyalty demonstrated by the employee not only choosing to remain in the organization, but also adopting the constructive behavior despite the source of dissatisfaction encountered. And therefore in that case, even if they are not active, right, but they are positive, so then they will exit and they will show the dissatisfaction and when they come and encounter about that particular organization. According to John M. Elegido in 2013, human flourishing, why do you have friends? Friendship of goodness, friendship of pleasure, and friendship of utility. Now this is called the human flourishing. So therefore in that case, it is becomes very important, that is at the workplace. That is a socialization process and social skills. Whenever there is a very high socialization and social skills, then in that case the persons will having the friends surrounding to him. For this purpose, there should be certain the greater motivation, and motivation means again satisfying the need. So first social needs are required, as I mentioned right from the beginning in the loyalty. The loyalty is the actually the basically it is a need of the it is a social need, and when the social need is fulfilled and loyalty is the one of them, then definitely the person will be highly motivated. So it is also a need to express the loyalty. It's a wonderful concept. Please try to understand that is the does loyalty is a natural phenomena? Yes, because human being is social, and therefore in the when a person is social, when the object is social, then there will be need of the loyalty. The person by voluntarily, by heart, he will try to express his loyalty to somebody. Now you see many times the human beings, when do not have the friends surrounding, in that case they show their loyalty to non-human beings. For example, trees, for example, animals. So for the expression of loyalty is natural, because if you have understood the loyalty, so loyalty is a thought, and that thought and that particular need, social need, every human being will have, and therefore even if a person is having a feeling that he is not loyal to somebody, he will not be happy. He may have the pleasure at temporary that, oh, I am not attached with anything. He may feel pride in that, that is the, oh, I am not attached to anything. But later on, automatically the person will realize that is, I am on this earth and there is nobody to whom I can be loyal. So this question will have the sleepless nights, and therefore in that case it becomes very important, that is the need will become the motivating factor to be loyal to somebody, dear friends. So if the person, a human being, cannot live with the loyalty to the object, why I am saying to object, that is, one may not be loyal to the human being, but somewhere he will loyal to the non-human being objects. Now naturally the condition for loyalty was trust, and the trust is created on the basis of the positive and negative experiences, and those positive and negative experiences, that will be making the loyal employees. So loyal employees are trustworthy, you can trust on them. Loyalty at work makes it easier to have committed relationship in other areas of employee's life. So therefore in that case, if the person is loyal at the workplace, then definitely he will develop that committed relationship also in the employee's life. So naturally, because you see, the personality is changed. The personality has that emotional component, that tacit affection, and therefore at workplace also you will see, and that is why when we say that is the women employees are better managers. So what it means? Because whatever the commitment and loyalty they show at the family, the similar commitment and loyalty and that caring, that will reflect at the workplace also, and therefore in that case that the employee's life, that will be having the broader canvas of loyalty. Now question arises, at workplace loyalty means what? It is a loyalty to the supervisor, loyalty to co-workers, loyalty to the job, and loyalty to the company. Now it is the interdimensional loyalty, because this is related to the supervisor, worker, job, and company. Can there be the intradimensional loyalty? For example, I ask you, you list down the preference of loyalty in these four aspects, that which one will be the most important loyalty? Loyalty number one will be to your supervisor, or to co-workers, or to job, or to company. Which one will be the most important loyalty for you, and which one will be the least important loyalty for you? And if there is an interdimension conflict, now question arises, you have to show the loyalty between the supervisor and the job. To whom you will be more loyal? And that will show your value system. So naturally the expected is loyalty to the job. And what is a common observation? Common observation is loyalty to the supervisor. As I mentioned in the last session, sacrificing and self-interest, you are weighing both. And here, when you are loyal to your job, you are sacrificing, because you know your supervisor will not happy. And if the supervisor will not happy, then you have to sacrifice. So loyalty to the job may demand sacrificing, but loyalty to the supervisor, that is the loyalty of the self-interest. So self-interest are dominating than sacrificing, then you need not to sacrifice. Dear friends, it will be question of the personality, it will be question of the courage, it will be question of the value system. Courage is also one of the value systems. That is the, what do you reflect? Now, the loyalty to the job and loyalty to the company, what you will prefer? Simple example, you are selling a product, and while selling the product you tell about the strengths and weaknesses of that particular product. Now, if you talk about the weaknesses of the product, you are supposed to tell the weaknesses also of the product, but if you tell the weaknesses of the product, the customer may not buy your product, and if the customer will not buy your product, you are not loyal to your company. So, you are loyal to your job, but you are proving not loyal to your company. What you will do and how will you do? So, loyalty will be always a question whenever you are going to the preference, and that will depend on the ethics and values of the individuals. It is a very interesting question, and everybody's mind this particular question: does this organization deserves my loyalty? Now what happened? Organization has obliged you by giving the employment. You are on the job, you have joined, and now what you are trying to identify? You are trying to identify, does this organization needs my loyalty? The main challenge for employees is to identify employers who are worthy of being loyal to. And how an employee will decide? Under what conditions it makes sense for an employee to offer loyalty to his employer? So, therefore, in that case, what should be the work culture and work environment that we will discuss? Sacrificing personal goals to achieve the company goals. So, that type of environment is required, and that type of environment will come with the social support. Whenever there will be the social support, only in that case there will be the person will be having the sacrificing personal goal, because he will realize that organizations have done so for me, can I not do this thing for the organization? And therefore, in that case, there is a sacrificing personal goal. Actually, this is the ROI, return on investment. Obligation versus loyalty. Obligation is how much and the loyalty is how much, and that is will be the ROI. Loyalty does not exist in business. Loyalty is appropriate according to John Corvino 2002. Loyalty is appropriate only in relationships that demand self-sacrifice without expectation of reward. That is, the example is parent to child and the PhD students to the guide. So, therefore, in that case, whenever we are having that particular loyalty, that is the parent is having to the child. The employee company relationships does not demand self-sacrifice without expectation of reward. So, therefore, in that case, whenever there is a employee and company relationship is there, it will not having any demand of the self-sacrificing without the expectation of reward, and therefore, if there is no reward, there is no loyalty. So, it is a selling of loyalty. Can anybody sell the loyalty? Yes. He is performing against the reward. So, therefore, in that case, it is nothing but it is the selling of loyalty and getting the reward. Because employees work in order to get their wages, while employers hire them in order to make a profit, loyalty does not exist. आपने तनख्वाह दी, हमने काम किया, इक्वेशन बैलेंस, बात वहीं खत्म. So, therefore, in that case, loyalty goes beyond the work conditions, because when you are talking about the work conditions, it is a give and take, but when it goes beyond, employee is doing these such actions and activities which is not the part of his duties. He is committing the actions, activities beyond his duties, and that is the loyalty. But normally, जितना दिया उतना लिया, इतने में इतना ही होता है बस, and therefore there will be the no loyalty of the employees. Pay for loyalty. Interestingly, salary and benefits are positively associated with one component of employee loyalty, namely commitment to managers and the company. Now you see that it is a true sense buying the loyalty. Can we buy the loyalty? Yes, buy the loyalty. But dear friends, the one should be emotionally matured enough. That is the time I am giving the wages and salary, this loyalty is to me. The time I am giving the bread and butter, this dog will be helping to me. But the day I will stop, there will be no loyalty, and therefore in that case there will be no continuity of loyalty as soon as you stop the rewards. So I remember one PSU where I conducted training program, and when this company was giving the overtime and I was meeting these union leaders, so then they were saying this company is best, and here is the workplace is very good. Now time change, because of the competition, company has stopped giving overtime but continue to give their wages and salary. Now I meet the union leaders, what they say? They say this company is not good, but you are getting wages and salary. Oh, we are doing the job, we are getting the wage and salary, but there is no scope of the any earning. We are ready to do hard work, but there is no opportunity for overtime. So therefore this is not the, this is a good workplace because every month we are getting the salary, but this is not a great workplace. And therefore in that case, because there is no excess surplus earning in their organization. So as soon as that particular expectation of rewards is stopped, loyalty also stopped. Recognition from a supervisor at least 2 ranks above an employee makes a meaningful, engaging difference in employee morale. So therefore, employer should keep on trying to engage the employee morale, that his morale should not deviate, his morale should not be down, no low morals, and therefore in that case what is required, that is the 2 ranks above. It is not the customer satisfaction, dear friends, it is the customer delighted. When you are doing something, what is expected from you are doing, that is okay state. But when you are doing something more which is not expected, then wow effect will come. For that wow effect, it is a 2 ranks above, and that is a something more than what is expected. Now here I will talk about the research component of the loyalty. If you want to do the research, you can develop a construct, and that construct may have this type of the dimensions. The dimensions are, the process of measuring the employee loyalty can range from very simple to very complex. Measuring your employee's passion about work and the work environment can be as simple as issuing a survey with a few scale questions around the ideas. The dimensions can be the job satisfaction. Actually, when I talked about the exit, vice, neglect, and that was about the job satisfaction model. Then you can identify whether there is a productivity is high or not, because when the moral will be high, the productivity has to be high, the quantity and quality that will be very high, and therefore in that case it will be the productivity. Now the quality appears a very new point, wherefore you are judging your peers what level of they are. So you see, that is the, when the motivation, you are into the talent pool. When you are into the talent pool, you are challenging yourself also, and you are getting the best of yourself, and that is a potential, maximization of potential, and therefore that potential and performance, and that will be have a positive relationship because the quality of peers is very high. But when you find that is the quality of peers is low, that is there is no need to perform high, it is the easy go lucky. So therefore in that case, that whatever we are doing, we are just getting the okay, the others are not doing, why should I do? And that is the quality of peers. Likelihood to change jobs. So that is why when you see the CV, in the CV there is no the staying period for more than 18 months. Nowadays I am giving the example of 18 months, in our time it was a 5 years. That is the, if you are changing the organization before 5 years and maybe the minimum 3 years, then it means that no, you are not loyal to the organization and there is some problem. But nowadays you cannot expect that much of time period for the retaining the employees. So nowadays 18 months is fine. If the employee is there for the 18 months to 2 years, yeah, he has done good job. Otherwise in 2 years he will change his job. So therefore likelihood to change his jobs. Likelihood to recommend company products or services, as I mentioned, that is the, whenever you meet the person and then he suggests you, अरे आप हमारी company का क्यों नहीं लेते हैं, it is the best. So what he is doing, he is expressing his loyalty to his company. And if he says किसी का भी ले लेना भाई पर हमारी company का मत लेना, so it shows that he is not the loyal to the company and therefore he is somewhere, he is annoyed with the company. Now, as I was mentioning, likelihood to recommend is a great place to work. Now, you see there is a difference between the good place to work and the great place to work. And when you talk about the great place to work, where you find, oh, organization is giving me more than what I deserve. Same thing I have mentioned in the customer delighted. And customer delighted, when the customer feels, अरे हमने तो ये सोचा ही नहीं था कि उनका आदमी आकर के आफ्टर सेल सर्विस करे, इतना सर्विस करेगा, राइट हम तो दूसरी कंपनी को फ़ोन कर करके थक गए, वो तो आता ही नहीं है सेल करने के बाद सर्विस करने. सो देयरफॉर इन दैट केस that is a great place to work means that delegation, decentralization, empowerment, rewards, incentives, promotion, cooperation, guidance, personality development, all everything is taken care of by the organization. It is not only that a performance appraisal, it is a potential appraisal. And my boss says, this organization says, you can. I was not believing myself, but the organization given me opportunity and I proved myself. That is the great place to work. It is not only that is the ordinary and routine work is there. There is a challenging, intellectual challenging tasks are given to me. So where I will get this opportunity, here only I will get the opportunity to show my best talent. I can, but I was looking for the opportunity. And this is the place where I get the opportunity. Satisfaction with compensation and benefits. So when the employee says, you know the principle of equity. It is equity, work, low and high, and compensation, low and high. You think your work is here, but your compensation is here. You are delighted. You think you are overpaid. नहीं मैं तो इतना काबिल नहीं था पर कंपनी मुझे कितना पैसा देती है. And therefore in that case you are the overpaid is there. But some employees they may feel ठीक है compensation भी moderate है, work भी moderate है, इसमें कुछ नहीं. But many employees they may feel that is the work is high and the compensation is low. They are here. They say नहीं. So there will be no loyalty. So if we say that is the loyalty is subject to the return on investment, and then in that case that is the rewards, incentives, career opportunities and social support, then this will be the overpaid. And then overpaid is the satisfaction with the compensation and benefits. So here that is measuring the employee loyalty, that will be becoming these parameter dimensions. You can do the PhD also in this and then you can make them. So what the company needs from a loyal employees? The company needs efforts, experience, skill, high level of skills, time management, honesty, cooperation, adherence to norms. So therefore there are the certain rules and regulations. Certain rules and regulations will troubling. It will be pinching rules. And every organization there will be certain pinching rules for a particular employee. But he is adhered to that. That is no. Even the physical and the mental situation, I will adhere to these norms. Attendance and then remaining with the company. This period is there. I would like to take the next slide. that is the what employee needs from a company. That does company needs from the employee, loyal employee need from a company is that is the pay, benefits, and it is not always the monetary, it is a non-monetary also, and it is a recognition. So, there will be the recognition by the employer, mental satisfaction, dear friends. What makes a person happy? Admiration. If you scold somebody, you underestimate somebody, you discourage somebody, will he be loyal? Chances are very less. Because then please understand, commitment might be there, but loyalty may not be there, please. So, therefore, even if you have a subordinate to whom you keep on scolding, but he does his work 100%, yeah, because he is getting the wages, rewards. But then do not ask for the loyalty. I will be committed to you 100%, but you do not ask me loyalty, because you are giving me money, I am giving you service, and the equation is balanced and it stops there. So, therefore, in that case, second is personal growth. Now, the company has so many employees, thousands of employees, but company recognize some employees as a talent pool. They are masters employees, and those master employees, they will have the personal growth. So, they are the blue eyed employees, like the IBM is having the term blue eyed employees. So, blue eyed employees are those employees, those who are problem solvers, those who are creative, those who are innovative, those who are going for that particular parameters where they will be they are getting the more contribution towards the organization. Now, it depends on the culture also, especially in India. In India, you will find that employees, they may look for the job security. They may sacrifice the pay, they may think that is they should get the higher pay, but they may not, they may continue with the organization with loyalty even if they are not getting the more pay, because their job is secure. They know that is my boss will, this organization will never remove me. That trust, that belief, that will create the more and more the job security. The status of the organization, that will also making the employee loyal. For example, where do you teach? I teach in IIT. That brand name, that branding. Where do you work? I work into the Institute of National Importance. I am working into the PSU. I am not doing the job only. I am building the nation. I am building the human capital. If this type of feeling is there, then definitely it creates the in the society your status is very high, because your recognition is there, and society express your recognition, your efforts, because you are employee in that organization which is contributing a lot to this nation. So, for the building of the nation, for the growth of the nation, you are also might be a tiny part of it, but you are part of that. That is a status, and therefore, in that case, that status is there. Then the belongingness. I love my organization, like the family belongingness, and therefore, like any person will say, you can say me anything, but don't tell anything to my parents. Similarly, the employee will say, you may say anything to me, but don't tell to my organization. My organization is a great organization, and that is the belongingness is there. Now, the last I will talk about the problems in the generating loyalty. In this slide, that is the how that problem is there and why the people are not loyal. Generating loyalty by the pay and rewards is not the loyalty, that is a commitment, as I mentioned number of times. So it is the you are expecting certain performance. करो भाई करो, कुछ तो करो, तुम कर भी सकते हो, कुछ तो करो, and the person is not doing, that is there is no reasonable performance. It is generated by the overachievement, monetary, non-monetary. And this level of performance requires outstanding teamwork, social support. So your relationship is good, your task is very high, position is very strong by the partners who trust one another's commitment to win-win results. So you are not into the lose-lose status. I will lose, you also lose. I will lose, you win. No, no, that sacrificing is also not required. I will win, you should lose. No, 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 that type of the frustration is also not required. What is required? Win-win attitude is required. So therefore, when you want the win-win results, you have to focus on the overachievements. Beyond the boundary, beyond the limitation, beyond the satisfaction. So therefore, if you are doing, that is called the extra, that is called the surplus, and that surplus, that is very, very important when you want a loyalty. Well, loyalty from any object, you have to take care, caring, emotions, your cognitive ability, that will decide about the generating the loyalty. But vision formulation is becoming very, very important. Vision for company is there, but not for the employee. So therefore, a big statement is there, vision statement. We want to achieve the global excellence. But where is the employee? So excellence means the production and productivity. You are not concerned with that, whatever the your employees are at what cost. Are they are motivated with you? Are you are the excellent because of the technology and the commitment of the employees? And last is, leaders are unable to show challenges to their employees. So the solution is, that is the always finally what I would like to say, always identify the potential of employees and give them the full justice to show their potential. Get the best, and not by only monetary is important, but not only monetary, but by the overachievements in terms of, again I will like to go back to that particular slide, that is in terms of job satisfaction, productivity, quality of peers, likelihood to change the job, and you increase this. When you will increase all these dimensions and parameters, and you will create a great place to work, right? Definitely, because the employees are satisfied, they are having the high productivity, the peers and co-workers are supporting, social work is there, nobody can stop you to create the great workplace. And when there will be the great workplace, the loyalty of employees will be automatically with you. I think that this formula will work, and when there is a loyalty, you can understand what type of relationship will be there amongst the employees of that organization. So this is all about the employee loyalty. Thank you.